I'm Tahir Narona. I'm an architect who's been working in the realm of planning and policy for the last few years in Goa. Today, I wanted to just briefly speak about the Coastal Zone Management Plan and why it's been in the news and why people are upset about what's going on. What is the Coastal Zone Management Plan? The CZMP is a technical document which will lay down details to manage all zones in the state of Goa which are influenced by the sea. This is not only restricted to our beachfront areas of Goa, but also a significant portion of the land alongside the rivers in Goa, because much of our rivers in Goa are influenced by the tides and have salinity up to pretty deep inland. But basically, anything under the influence of the sea and the tide and is called a coastal zone. Why is coastal protection important? It's because the influence of the sea is massive. The sea regulates our local climate and forms unique habitats, especially when it starts to intersect with land and the river for different types of flora and fauna. But at the same time, the sea is very treacherous because it's bigger than any of us can imagine. And especially in the context of climate change right now, protecting our littoral areas doesn't just ward off climate change and preserve biodiversity, but it also protects our settlements from various natural calamities and disasters such as tsunamis, erosion, sea level rise, and cyclones. Speaking of our settlements, 80% of Goa's population live in these areas which are called coastal zones, areas which are influenced by the sea. And almost all of our tourism is also focused in these areas. So if we do want to protect the beauty and biodiversity of our Goa, and we want to keep tourism and other industries running sustainably, we need to have some sort of a management plan. Let's look at the history of coastal management in India. In 1991, under pressure from international climate commitments and a lot of pressure from civil society, the Ministry of Environment and Forests of India notified no development zones along areas influenced by the sea. These zones have been revised time and time again over the last 30, 40 years. But the last major update was in 2011, where different categories of coastal areas were clearly defined. For example, from the high tide line of 200 meters, there is no development permitted. And then a further 500 meters have regulated, restricted development permitted. These are not hard and fast as they vary based on rivers and seas, and now in 2018 some of these protections have been diluted, but that's another story and I am not the right person to speak about this. But what this 2011 notification did is it instructed every state to draw plans and administer coastal zones according to those plans. Now 10 years have passed, but we know that Goa doesn't have a plan. But we also know that people are taking permission for coastal zones and working accordingly. You must have read about CRZ disputes and accusations going around in the newspapers over the last 10 years. So, how is Goa giving permission without a plan? It is on a case-to-case basis through a committee. This committee is called the Goa Coastal Zone Management Authority. What are the disadvantages of giving permissions through a committee? The biggest disadvantage is that the onus is on the applicant to establish a fact and prove the same before the committee. We know that in India, where education is not so high, this is a lot of responsibility on people who want to do genuine things in this area. Take, for example, a fisherman who has an existing house less than 200 meters from the high tide line. His house is in a very dilapidated condition and it is no longer habitable. Our fisherman now needs to contact an architect, get new designs made, and put together a representation before the authority, before the committee. Only then his file will be considered and he may be given permission to construct. But now, if we look on the other hand, the committee is responsible for verification of the evidence presented by our applicant, in this case the fisherman. And we know that on site it's very difficult to have objective reference points. Let's again go back to our example of the high tide line. The high tide line is the highest high tide during spring. We cannot put concrete markers on all of our beaches showing that this is the exact location of the high tide line. So when a committee member goes on site, for example, it becomes very difficult for him to have an objective standard measurement to know exactly how far our fisherman's house is from the high tide line. Then we also know that there are other geographical constraints that happen on site. Let's imagine that there is thick bushes or a rocky outcrop which prevents the committee member who has gone for the inspection to take a clean measurement to the site. You see, all of these lead to a lack of uniformity, and it's a major problem, because a lack of uniformity means that permissions are not given also on objective reality, and that is why we need this objective document which we call the Coastal Zone Management Plan. Now, if this is a need of the hour, if this will benefit both the committee of the government and private citizens, why is it being kept in abeyance? The allegation that many of us have is that doing things through a committee system is also a fountain of corruption. You see, take again our fisherman for example. He has to present the facts of the matter, but the committee is in the position of power to either approve his evidence or accept his evidence, or demand more or dispute some of the evidence that he has provided, which leaves him in an uncomfortable position, because a committee member could always ask a question and say, I don't think that the evidence submitted is correct in the first place. And then until he greases the palms of the people, his permission can perpetually be kept in abeyance. So now I'm sure many of you have this one question, because if you read the newspapers, the government are blaming activists for delaying the plan, and this to me is very dirty politics. Our Goa government has only started pushing the plan because they are under pressure from the National Green Tribunal. The National Green Tribunal, or NGT, as many of you will know, is the foremost authority in environmental protection in India. They demanded that the government produce the CZMP by December 2020. It's already March 21, the CZMP is not out. The excuse is that the plan is being developed by a Chennai-based agency called the National Center for Sustainable Coastal Management. This National Center took a long time in delivering the plans, and they've not done a good job despite taking so long. There are hundreds of errors in the plans, and we have reason to suspect that the entire exercise of mapping for these plans was done through little bit of data received from the departments of Goa government and then looking at satellite or drone imagery. There was no considerable ground survey by the NCSCM on ground, and almost no village panchayat received any member from Chennai who came to verify or visit them and collect information. Now remember, the CZMP is the so-called objective document which will fix all problems with the committee system of approvals of coastal zones in India, and Goa particularly. Therefore, it is so important, we cannot stress the importance of having this objective document being accurate and correct. Because if the base itself is wrong, there is something inherently flawed with everything goes on. And once this plan is approved, it's going to stay in force for at least another 5 years, realistically 20 years without any changes. So it needs to have this platform, this framework, which is incredibly detailed and accurate. This is why it was so upsetting to see what happened at the public hearing on 7th March. So many people, most of whom villagers and fishermen, who knew their village better than all of us urban activists, technical people who got in. So many of the people who were outside actually knew the ground realities. They knew the exact locations of the mangroves in their villages. They knew which lands were below sea level, which were not. Which areas had bunds, where the bunds were broken, where sluice gates existed, which waterways are navigable by boats, which are not. and where the fishing community themselves had their activities and operations. They had this information and they were not allowed to represent and produce that information before the members of the committee. Here we have a draft plan that we see is wrong, we see is inaccurate, we see is shabbily prepared. To not allow people who would have had valuable corrections and insights to implement onto this plan into the so-called public hearing, this is incredibly problematic. The agenda for all of us is to freeze a correct plan. If the plan is itself flawed, Goa is doomed. All we need to do to correct the plan is just do proper on-site verification. Since the NCSCM is not ready to do this, we as civil society and citizens of Goa should take the lead. We do not want a perceived Google Earth as our coastal zone management plan. Come on, that's available to everyone. You can just open Google and look at satellite images. The plan has to be reflective of the details that one can only get from the ground. I know many of you who have expressed interest in this small statement are architects. So this is maybe my advice on how we can start. To start with, we know that many citizens cannot read maps. This could be our first step. We could help people to understand the maps prepared by NCSCM, pinpoint major locations and landmarks to them, and show them that, okay, if this is the railway track, accordingly to the east of the railway track there is a sluice gate. Has that been shown? Are there mangroves? Have those been shown? Then we start sitting with senior citizens, fishermen, farmers who work in the khazans, and get them to verify information from their own knowledge, traditional knowledge and wisdom that they have from working in this realm for so many years. And also, very importantly, I think we, as all of us as citizens of Goa, need to start exploring and documenting our own villages, because this is a great opportunity for us to show a lot of the complexities that make up the Goan agriculture and fishing and littoral atmosphere. 15th March is the deadline by the government to submit in any suggestions, corrections and objections to this plan. We have made representations to postpone this and to have another hearing. Let's hope that the government listens and gives us more time. But till then, please talk to whoever you know, forward this video to others. Let us start building up some more dialogue about why it's so important that we correct this plan. Thank you.